Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to today's video about the accumulation schematic for Wyckoff Accumulation, and we're going to be talking about my recent Twitter thread that I posted and where we are currently in the schematic and whether that schematic is still valid. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future, and let's dive right in. A few days ago I spoke about how we've seen the spring, we've seen the test, right? So the spring being here and the test being here to just confirm this range low still as a support, the support of this range. We got that spring, we got that test, and what was really important was to see a third higher low effectively turn here to just form a third higher low, and a third higher low would effectively just enable further upside continuation towards the last point of supply in the mid to higher 30s. And of course, a few days ago, or actually yesterday, we were threatening to lose this support, but in the end we have recovered quite nicely as per the blue pathway over here. So we are currently in this phase of phase C, so really just finishing up phase C according to the schematic. So what could we focus on going forward? Well, at the moment we're in the 36,000 area. This is where the resistance is. So we got the higher low here and here. We've got the higher highs as well. So we just need to breach these highs, because the most important thing in a accumulation schematic through the Wyckoff lens is to have the series of higher lows form, have the range low continue to hold, and have the series of higher highs form. And now going forward, if we want to confirm phase C being over and phase D beginning, we have to break past this recent higher high, and that's at around $36,000. So breaking past this resistance, we're going to see an overextension into the higher 30,000s, maybe 38. And of course 38 is a real important resistance on the weekly time frame, so I wouldn't be surprised to see resistance in that area. And if we do reach 38,000, then a pullback towards the mid 30,000s would probably be on the cards, which could even get us to 36,000 for a old resistance, new support test. So probably a overextension to 38, back to 36, 35 before challenging the top of the range, 40,500 in phase D. So that looks to be the trajectory at the moment, but we can't talk about the three-step trajectory if we don't break 36,000. As long as we break 36,000, then this Wyckoff accumulation schematic is still very much on the cards. At the moment, price is following the schematic quite nicely, and we might be on the cusp of exiting phase C to transition into phase D, but we need to see 36,000 hold, and or at least break as a resistance, and then hold as a support once we get that last point of supply rejection into 36,000 or even 35,000. So that's the most important thing to watch out for. On the 8-hour time frame, I was also looking at the Wyckoff accumulation range, but that got invalidated because on the 8-hour time frame we had this low actually close below this low. So essentially the higher lows were invalidated, but on the daily time frame, if you zoom out, then this accumulation schematic is still very much intact, and as long as we break 36, we can see further price appreciation towards the upside. And before I wrap up this video, I just want to talk about the potential redistribution. This was a video I made yesterday, and I spoke about how we really need to see the bottom of the distribution range turn into a resistance, so effectively this phase, before we can talk about redistribution. Does this test need to happen? Not necessarily, but according to the schematic, this is what should happen for us to confirm the Wyckoff distribution range. So if we look on this chart, we should see a recovery from here, breakout from 38k to test the bottom of this distribution range into a new resistance before rejecting towards the downside. We didn't get any tests to just confirm the distribution range here, the bottom of the distribution range as a new resistance. So this is an unconfirmed breakdown from the distribution range. So as long as we hold the bottom of this range low, then you can't make a case for redistribution. We'd need to give way here at the lows for that redistribution to take place. And at the same time, this phase hasn't actually occurred to just give me confidence that this is indeed redistribution, even though reaccumulation here is at the same price levels as redistribution, much like we're seeing over here, reaccumulation and potential redistribution. But this is, of course, a schematic in of itself that isn't validated. It hasn't broken down from 28k, so we can't talk about redistribution. People can rush to that conclusion and think that this is redistribution according to the schematic over here, and it does look pretty identical. But the most important things about schematics is trigger points. And if we don't lose 28k, then we won't see this validated as redistribution in the same way that we won't see this accumulation range, this schematic, continue to be validated if we can't break past 36,000 relatively soon. So it's all about looking at points where price could potentially fail through the lens of the schematic and see if they fail or not. So the next point of potential failure or success in terms of the accumulation schematic over here is 36,000. Break past it and we will see this accumulation schematic continue to play out as per over here, effectively higher low into last point of supply. So 36,000 and so on, as I mentioned earlier on in the video. So at the moment, this is the daily time frame on the accumulation schematic, and this is the weekly time frame on the accumulation schematic. So how do these two perspectives gel in together? Well, this accumulation schematic should see Bitcoin revisit 40,000. And as we know over here, we've seen wicking below or at least beyond this 38k region. This is the resistance here. On the weekly time frame, breaking past this resistance would be bullish, of course, and we'd probably have to start to look for this region to see if this Wyckoff distribution range would be validated. But for the time being, we need to see this region break past as a broken resistance. This is the resistance on the weekly time frame, so that daily accumulation could translate into a challenge of the range high here that is on the weekly time frame. And if we break past there, then you'll see another video from me in the future. And having said that, that's about it for today's video update. Thank you so much for watching today. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. And of course, like the video if you enjoyed this one. I'm Rekt Capital and I'll speak to you in the next video. Speak to you soon.